Hey, I'm back in Baltimore, and I heard Grey March is going to have a reunion. This is going to be sick! Guys, I'm going to point the camera this way to a friend of mine. This is Teddy. Teddy, how are you, bro?
How you doing? Good to see you, Johnny. Pleasure again. Nice to see you, folks.
Saw you at the private rehearsal last night.
Absolutely. Going to see old friends play. I guess I'm the drum tech. See, second drummer, I guess always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So Junior came back from Osaka, came here to play a show, and it's really cool to have everybody back. It's doing better than ever.
Dude, they sounded phenomenal last night at the practice at our house.
You know, it was like going back 25 years. It was honestly took me back home. It was nice.
Totally.
It's good.
Now, the Junior or Eric, he was using the original drums from Grey March, wasn't he?
Yeah. When we were kids, Junior's dad decided to buy him a drum set if he took the earrings out of his ears, so he got that Swing Star set. So when he got old enough a little bit later and graduated to another set, I scooped those boys up as fast as I could for $500 whole. 20 years later, I got to dig all that crap back out so we can do this show. It's awesome.
And you know what, dude? He was hitting him hard. It was thunderous last night. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Beautiful. I can't make him sing like that. It's kind of sad when your old drum teacher still is better than you. What do you do?
Hey, what do you expect for the show tonight, man? I mean, how do you think it's going to turn out?
Tonight, look at the crowd. This is awesome. I mean, this is back to what it used to be. So many old faces. It's beyond high school reunion. It's a lot of people coming back together on an old show where a lot of people love the music, and they're all here.
That's it.
I've never seen this place as packed. It reminds me of home. It reminds me of the Loft, circa 1985.
Dude, Rod, how are you, man?
Pretty good. Good seeing you again after all these years.
I think we have Mike Malley behind me. There's Mike Malley from Grey March. How you doing, Mikey?
Peace and love, Rastafari.
Now, you remember Grey March and Gag School and all the bands that used to play back in the day. What was it like, man, being a DJ with all this amazing music that we're doing a reunion show for tonight?
I don't know if this answers your question directly, but the thing that I remember most about the scene at that day and that I was always impressed with was the word of mouth. How a band could at the last minute be booked, let's say at the Utah Street Clubhouse or Jules's Loft, and then within a few hours the place would be packed.
Yes.
And it was that always impressed me, and that was also one of the few times where a scene in Baltimore topped what was happening in D.C.
What's the music scene like now? Is it?
Well, it's hard to say because I don't have a chance to get out and check it out that much. Okay. But I think that with the advances of technology, it's easier for bands to get material out there than there was back in the 80s. I'm sure you remember your band, The Unknown, did a couple of albums, and it was a real difficult thing to just get even vinyl out even before CDs came into existence.
It wasn't easy.
It
wasn't easy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tonight, do you think this is a great idea to have a reunion show for bands?
Yeah, definitely.
Guys, I'm going to do my first individual interview with one of the members of Grey March. Very good friend of mine. This is Stuart. Stuart, how are you, brother?
Doing wonderful tonight.
Give us one of your favorite, days back in Grey March. Give me like one day, like at the Marble Bar, like something that you remember from back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s. I remember our tour when, just getting across everything it took to get across the Canadian border.
Yeah.
And,
I can only imagine with you five in one band, dude. I don't know how you did it.
Somehow we did it. We all hit in the drums.
Tell them your name and where you're from.
My name's CJ. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Born and raised.
Yeah.
This is a great event. Grey March reunion is awesome. I remember being 16, listening to these guys back in my punk rock days. Like, who is these guys? Guy turned me on to us like Grey March. Been listening to them since. So when they say they're having a reunion show, forget about it.
Right.
Look, you can see the crowd. Everybody's like just saying the same thing.
It's fantastic. I think tonight's going to be awesome. Now, we got Gag School playing as well. That's Joe Goldsboro's band, right?
School, Joe Goldsboro. They sound really good.
Yeah.
Now, their singer, Ken, I think he used to play with Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Yes, he did.
And they got a really good, the combination of rock and harmonies is really good, man. It sounds great, yeah.
Hey, where the right goes and the quiet says ways to the news of extermination.
Hi, my name's Ben Watson, and I guess I started back in the 1980s working at the premier rock and roll club here called the Marble Bar. I was the house sound guy there. I actually lied and told them I was 18 when I was actually 16 and begged them to give me a job as a doorman so I could weasel my way in as a sound engineer.
And this guy was carding me. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I was. That's
Hey,
right.
tonight, you were doing sound with Gray March and everybody there, right?
Yeah, I'm actually working with them doing lighting. I'm sort of like acting as stage support for them.
Nice.
I work in rock and roll now. I just got off of Poison and Motley Crue.
Right on.
Yeah, so when I found out this was happening, I had to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I pretty much stopped everything to come and do this, and I'm
Yeah.
so glad that I did.
We are too, man. Listen, give us one of your greatest memories of Gray March or Uphill House or somebody at the Marble Bar that we just like totally love to hear.
Well, I think the funny thing is that like everybody always says, you know, the same thing. It's like their song sounds so familiar. Their song sounds so familiar, and I'm like, you know, they're not really familiar. They're just good. You know, it's like they really have a really great idea of melody and how to make lyrically how to make a song work.
Yes.
And I think that that's really important. That's one of the things I love about them. Plus, they're all great guys. I mean,
They're
you know,
awesome guys.
yeah.
They're fantastic. What I loved about Gray March is that they were the segue between like alternative rock, hardcore, goth, everything that was all taking place in Baltimore back in the day.
Absolutely,
Right,
and
man?
absolutely.
And you saw all the bands come through the Marble Bar, so you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, which was great, you know.
Yeah.
And Joe's band that's about to go on
Yes,
with
they
Reptile
are.
House,
Phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Wow. Okay, we finally found a table here at Fraser's. This place is so packed for this Gray March reunion, and I'm gonna point us this way. I have Joe Goldsboro. How are you, brother?
I'm good. I'm
Good
good.
to see you, man.
It's great to see you.
The guitarist from Gag School, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna go around the table in a second, but just before we go that way and this way, I want you to just give me an idea about this evening. I mean, what's your feeling about this Gray March reunion?
I never thought I'd see this happen.
Yeah.
It's incredibly strange after 25 years that the band's actually delivering a reunion show.
This is very true. Very true. I think it's going to be remarkable. I mean, we have a lot of people out here. It's just it's going to be a blast. I'm going to go this way over to my good friend Paul T. Anderson.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing, baby?
How's everything?
Everything's really good. How about yourself?
Good, not
Good,
bad,
good,
not
good.
bad, not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts tonight?
Oh, tonight's going to be pretty wild. I mean, after all this time, so far I've seen like just a ton of people that I haven't seen in for years already, and it's really going to be about a reunion and about like a time that used to be, you know, and it's continuing now. So it's really super cool.
I got it. And I have somebody in the back over here. This is actually, you are the bass player in Gag School?
player for
Yeah,
Gag
of course.
School, yes.
Yeah.
Joe, my name's Joe,
Yeah, I know.
bass player from Gag School.
You also kind of work here, don't you?
Yeah, I work here. I'm actually just got done with working, and now I'm gonna play the show.
It's going to be awesome.
Yes. I've never seen so many people clamoring for a Fraser's gig before.
My question is, have you ever seen Gray March back in the day?
I'm 27, so no.
That makes them 2 years old, right?
2 years
Right,
old.
right, when they were
Awesome.
still around. Now, Joe, so tonight, I mean, the Gag School is playing this evening. Now, can you tell us the members, I mean, what your lineup is and what you guys are all about?
Well, our singer, songwriter, guitar player, Ken Mosier, was the saxophone player in the Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Nice.
And so most people would know him from the Squirrel Nut Zippers. Years ago, I did a band called Reptile House. I did a record label called Merkin Records.
Yes.
And I did a recording studio, Oz Recording Studio. But these are all in the past, and
Sure.
Gag School is what we have tonight.
Nice. Now, is Gag School like, is it a band, I mean, it's active, or is this a
Yeah.
show tonight? It
Yeah.
is. Right on.
Mhm.
If anybody wanted to find you guys online, do you have anything like a website, or are you guys listed anywhere, or nothing right now?
Yes, we do. I believe is it gagschool.com?
The site's not really it's not really up yet, but most of our shows that we've done have found their way onto YouTube at this point.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, so we can
I'm very certain if you Google Gag School, something interesting will come up.
You might want to put your search filters on for that one. No. Now, Paul, you're actually a local musician, right?
I guess I live here and I do play guitar.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You do. And aren't you playing with Gray March this evening?
Well, that wasn't supposed to be divulged in this now, but I guess since the cat's out of the bag, they're gonna let me do one song with them. I won't tell you what it is until I play it, though.
Okay, well,
yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, I saw you also at the rehearsal that they had at our house, Joe and myself. We were all there. What was your impression?
It was pretty wild just to see that whole sort of like setting, that stage, you know, of all the members up on the stage at the Our House. So It looked good, and a little rough at the beginning, but it's it's looking good.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, I saw you there too. You were the first person that was actually at that rehearsal, and I saw the big smile on your face as well. You were excited to see that. I'm a huge Grey March fan, and I saw the excitement of just being around it again. It was kind of cool, wasn't it?
Well, it was cool to see the tremendous chemistry that's still there. It was as if the band had taken a week off. The personalities involved really haven't matured one bit, not an inch.
This is very true.
Yeah.
And same with some of the fans out here in Baltimore.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Screaming stuff out. But it was really cool. The first rehearsal was kind of a dry, kind of like rough around the edges kind of rehearsal. Then the second rehearsal, you saw them polish up, and they were actually back to where I thought they kind of left off.
Well, Eric had just flown in from Japan, so he was profoundly jet lagged for the first rehearsal.
Right.
And they were playing through equipment that they hadn't played through in years, so everyone kind of had to feel their way around a bit. Sure.
But I think in general, I think tonight's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see Gag School this evening. And you guys are going to be playing, so I'm going to let you go pretty shortly. But do you want to do any shout-outs, say hi to anybody? I'm going to do around on you.
I just hope that Paul's back is up to tonight's performance.
Yeah, Paul's back. You want to mention anything about this?
No, I'm sure the back's going to be just fine. You never know. You never know about these things.
Any shout-outs before we roll?
Yeah, I would have to say check out my new band, Track and Stream, when we are out.
Definitely.
So there you go.
We'll keep that. And how about you, Joe, in the corner? You got anything you want to say?
If Alfonso Ribeiro from Silver Spoons and Fresh Prince happens to see this, he owes me $10.
You heard it here first, guys. We'll be right back. I know who you are, but tell everybody out there who you are.
My name is Zariana.
Right on.
I'm from Baltimore.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you because you're a little younger than the rest of the crowd here tonight.
Right.
What is your impression with this band, with this show this evening? You grew up around this music.
I grew up around this music, and I love it, and I just feel so lucky, to have grown up around it and be involved in it,
What is your relationship with some of the band members or people that are here?
Well, I pretty much ran around as a child, people babysitting me, and...
But wasn't your father a really famous local musician?
My father was a famous local musician, and my mother was also, and so I was like a child in the scene.
Yeah, a total child in the scene.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to this music, do you like hardcore? Do you like the alternative rock? Or what?
I like punk rock pretty much, yeah, and I really, really like old school punk rock.
Right. I've got another Grey March member with me. This is a very good friend he's from Baltimore, but he was living in San Francisco for a while, and now he's back in Baltimore, right?
Yeah. I've been back about 4 years now.
Yeah, man.
So it's good, it's good to see these people, I've been back, it's hard to adjust, but the city's always good,
It is.
It's a good place for music, if you're playing the right kind of music and you're around the right kind of people, it's good stuff.
I'm telling you, Ron, look at the turnout tonight. Are you excited about this?
Yeah, it's really awesome, and it's I think it's not so much about us playing. I think it's more about bringing people together, from an older scene, man. It's we don't get to hang out like this, and it's so awesome, You got so many people getting older, and and it's they don't come out, man. And this gives everyone a chance to come out and catch up with each other, man.
Absolutely, dude. I haven't seen half of these people in 25 years.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. It's so beautiful, man. People can really come together, after changes in their lives and stuff, and just still come back and feel like a kid, man.
Dude, and we are. Tonight, man, before we do the big interview.
Right.
Are you guys doing a full set? How many songs?
Yeah, I think it's an hour long. I'm not sure how many songs, maybe 13, 14 songs.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be good, and we wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for the support of our fans, that such as yourself, and other people that came by with tapes. Because when you're a kid, you lose that stuff. I didn't even have an album, man.
I know, you asked me for the album.
Right? You know what I'm saying? It's we don't even have an album, and it's and all these people come forward with these tapes, these demos, live shows, and then we pieced it all together and remembered the songs, and that's how we were able to do this. And it's great community support.
It is.
really shows we have a strong voice here in this city for underground music, and that's what's up.
So happy.
Yeah,
Great
man.
March.
Talk about this reunion tonight, man. What are your thoughts, man?
I was driving down here thinking, I remember taking a bus. I was like 15 years old, coming downtown to the old Jules Loft to check these guys out, and it like transported me to another world, like a Joy Division, New Order, but it was real. It was like, and these are guys that I knew from in the neighborhood, and like they're making this sound, and it's like Joy Division, but it was like mixed with some punk rock. It was just fast. It was like the guitars. It was just awesome.
Awesome time.
Always an experience.
It is, and it was. I mean, it's too bad that the scene isn't like that today, but I mean, I guess, things change, you know?
Things change, but the kids get it. Look at this crowd. This is a band that hasn't existed for 25 years, and then they got like 300 people here.
Yeah. Now, you're going to be in tonight, man. You're going to be watching the show, right?
Tonight, I'm going to have a great time tonight, Johnny. I'm excited about this. I'm glad they're getting some attention that they deserve.
Absolutely. Finally, I was able to get 3 of the 5 members of Grey March. Guys, look, I'm going to point it over here. Legendary Grey March, please introduce yourself.
Trip, vocalist.
Ron, keyboards.
Stuart on bass guitar.
Guys, I cannot tell you how excited we are tonight. This is amazing. It is amazing. Yeah, I mean, look at the turnout, man. I mean, are you excited about this?
Very excited. I mean, it's people I haven't seen in 25 years, and it's great. It's a testament to the Baltimore scene, the way it was in the early 80s, and I think that we were sort of the spark that just brought everyone together. I think everyone's here to just see each other.
I've always said that, and it's not just me, but back in the 80s, man, you guys were the segue or the bridge that brought in the alternative, the hardcore, the great scenes together. We had so many pockets of people in Baltimore. Do you agree with this?
I totally do. I think it's cool how we were able to play with some of the more harder bands, some of the more harder edge punk bands, and then our style was a little bit different, more like of a European kind of sound, but more of like a West Coastish kind of punk thing. It's more melodic, but yet we could still play with those bands, and that's what's great, Well,
I think that they were playing with you guys, if you ask me personally. You know what I'm saying? It was a strong scene. It was a great scene.
I read something about the whole emo thing in D.C. and how Baltimore was just kind of like sort of, I don't know. We were sort of destined to be like that, the eternal support act in Baltimore with the DC bands, which is fine. But we came with a little bit more of, I mean, I hate to say it, but the Joy Division is a huge influence for me. Was always, and we mixed that with Mike, who was a hardcore. He was into Void. We went to high school with the guys from Void, and he had that sort of. He brought that sound to us, and it just sort of like, and that gave us sort of the step ladder to get into that hardcore scene.
I agree, but I also know, Stuart, you were also into like King Crimson and Cream and all those other big bands that like you and Mike used to hear, like the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, I came from I actually turned everyone on to Joy Division in this band.
Yes, you did.
But on top of that, I just always had an open mind and wasn't afraid to be pigeonholed into one particular style, and that's how I went about playing bass guitar.
No, dude, totally strong. Now, out of these 3 members, I think I've asked you guys, and I've had several different answers. Who came up with the name Grey March?
Well, that would be me. It was Trip. It was Trip and I. Trip and I.
Wherever it goes.
At the Club Charles. It's a known fact. It is
Club Charles when there wasn't an upstairs.
Right.
There we go.
That's how.
Firmly agree.
You weren't even there. Shut your mouth.
Yeah. So the name kind of came out anyway. It was basically, for lack of, there's no mystery. It was just like it was a Grey March evening, and
we needed a name.
We were out there. We had thrown around every ridiculous name for about 3 hours, and about 10 shots later, and then we just said, "This is it," because we have a show. It's time to come up with a name.
Now, I just spoke to Ron a second ago, but I mean, you guys are doing a full set. You're doing about an hour tonight. Yep. What are the plans, man? What's for the future? Is Grey March actually going to get back together?
No, this is it.
This is it.
This is just a nice little. This is like, what's the expression? Topping on the cake or whatever you want to say.
Fat lady sings the very last song.
I am actually going to say that to avoid all Brett Favrean moments in the future of the retire, he is retired. I'm going to say that basically got our drummer Eric. He's in Japan. Guitarist is in Oregon. So it's actually hard to get everybody together. But in this day and age, I wouldn't rule out anything, and especially we're stoked on this crowd tonight, so to rule anything out would be folly.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't rule it out, and I think, we just have to wait and see. This is a great
We have
turnout.
the name for the new Gray March. It's going to be Veil of Tears.
Veil of Tears.
I'm kidding.
He's
Is that
kidding.
you?
He's kidding.
I'm kidding.
No, man, listen, you guys are going to
cry now.
Make no doubt, I have a feeling that this band is going to be hungry to, get together. We wanted to have a little bit more time to adjust the music and kind of fine-tune, update, whatever, but the time constraints really proved tricky, so we're kind of going old school tonight.
Yes.
But there's that element, that could perhaps,
But you know what I like, man? I was at both of your private rehearsals, man, and let me tell you something. From the first rehearsal to the second rehearsal, which was last night, leagues. I mean, you guys sounded even better than the album live last night. I mean, that shows me and tells me that you guys are ready to go. I mean, you have a love for Gray March. It's a part that, it's a point in a time in your life.
You have love for Gray March.
Oh, dude, I'm obsessed with Gray March. You should know that by now. We're so happy to be here. We can't wait to
Fans
hear
are
your
the
music.
number one thing for us, too, because if they didn't come out in the tremendous response we got, this would just be like another Baltimore, kind of just humdrum event.
Sure.
Everybody's made this. We're just kind of actually basically the entertainment for what I consider a great get-together of just everybody that mattered in Baltimore.
It's not just a Gray March reunion. It's a reunion for people here in Baltimore, if you think about it.
For everyone here.
Listen, we are looking forward to this tonight, man. We are so happy to be here. We thank you. If they wanted to find you guys online, does anybody have a website? Like, is there a Gray March?
MySpace, Reverb Nation, Facebook, Last FM. It's easy to find.
Thank you, Jim Morrison and Ian Curtis. You've inspired me like you have no idea.
Does he still do that to you?
Yes, always.
Unbelievable. You gotta love him. He's like a brother. Guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, Johnny.
Anytime.
Love it. Absolutely. It's been
Can't wait to see this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the best. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Guys, it's awesome. We'll see you inside.
You're watching Click on This.
Everybody see the road, up and down the hill, up the road,
All right.